Hello, and welcome to my new weekly show, Being Watched, an episode recap of Person of Interest, a 2011 thriller show with a wild premise. Okay, let's say the government responded to 9/11 by hiring a tech genius to create an air quotes ethical super surveillance device with access to every camera in New York City and ran it through an algorithm that could predict when someone was about to do a terror attack. Instead, it was able to identify all people who were likely to experience violence, but the government was like, whoa, hang on, we are only interested in cases that we can use as justification for our wars in the Middle East, terrorists only, please, and told the creator, Harold Finch, to throw out all other results. Instead of doing that, Harold gave himself backdoor access to the machine, extremely limited to avoid detection, in which it will send to him the social security numbers of any people that the feds weren't going to look into. He tracks down ex-CIA agent John Reese, an impossibly talented combat machine, capable of both close quarter combat and gunplay, just a real cool guy with a ton of trauma who was able to channel that all into just unspeakable violence. Reese is drunk and depressed, living on the street, and Harold bails him out of jail to ask him to join his case of identifying and stopping the murder about to occur according to the soothsaying robot. They eventually decide to work together and spend 4.5 seasons getting into thrilling adventures, saving people while avoiding the detection of any number of authority figures. At its most basic is just a setup for formulaic adventures, a premise sturdy enough for 20 plus episodes of television to fill the 9 p.m. slot. Just enough to be entertaining without needing to know what is going on, but when you stop and watch what is going on, it's deeply fascinating. Join me each week as I bloviate upon each episode in order, every week, at least for season 1. We'll see how I feel, because of everything. This is the best I could think to do, create things to bring joy and build community. Let's get through this highly rated CBS schlock together. Person of Interest was created by Jonathan Nolan, brother of Christopher. He was responsible for Memento and 2016's Westworld, which never looked that interesting to me. You can feel the Nolan factor on this, the very serious theme that grows ridiculous in success, all gruff and cynical, a single and possibly cool guy just absolutely owning everyone, but also he still loses in the end, that kind of shit. There are 103 episodes of this show, and we are led to believe there's continuity between episodes, so we'll be watching in air order, the only order that matters. Fight me. There are a few things I need to point out before we start. Firstly, Jimmy here. This guy has gone off the deep end, believing in any number of conspiracies about vaccines and elections and the identity of Q, and also PDF file smuggling rings, having recently appeared in the scam film that was The Sound of Freedom. Point is, this guy is bad news. I don't want that heat, so I'm going to avoid saying his name out loud and talking about his activities, because he's a good actor for this role specifically, and politics rarely bleeds into this show despite its contents. It's about a fictional world where several secret organizations tucked inside existing organizations all vie for control of an omnipresent AI. It's not a coherent political message. So we won't be talking much about Jimmy Caviezel. Just know that he's a real weirdo. Don't look up what he's up to. It's nothing good. This show is also like a decade old, and I don't know how cool they're going to be about me using clips from the show. A lot of clips from the show on YouTube, but you never know. It's also about spy stuff, a lot of torture, a lot of war in the Middle East, a lot of people in power treating life as worthless, that kind of CBS thriller for boomer stuff. It starts twisting into such a weird vision of geopolitics that's impossible to follow, but it can be that kind of show at times. Our pilot starts with John Reese sleeping on the subway wearing his best fake beard when he's interrupted by some punks, some kids, some nerds who he proceeds to absolutely beat the shit out of. This gets him and all the children arrested, where Taraji P. Henson chats him up, figuring him to be a homeless veteran who could use some help. He's a real asshole about it.
It's funny. Seems like the only time you need a name now is when you're in trouble. So am I in trouble?
And gets sprung by some lawyer who takes him away in an unmarked car, presumably to be murdered by the government. Turns out it's just Ben Linus here, who has been watching John Reese for some time and wants to make him an offer. He knows that this particular woman is in trouble, something is going to happen to her, he just doesn't know what, and he wants John to stalk her and save her from whatever is threatening her. John immediately assumes that Finch is a crazy rich guy, and that lady is someone he wants to fuck, and he wants no part of this. He's out of here, heading to a shitty little room to pretend to shave his fake beard off and fall asleep drunk watching samurai movies.
But now police consider the man a person of interest in a number of crimes nationwide.
He wakes up in a completely different room, handcuffed to the bed. Finch calls him up and tells him he's going to have to just lay there and listen to a lady getting murdered.
You need to know what it would be like to be forced to listen to someone get murdered and not be able to do anything about it.
He gets out of the cuff and runs out to find it was all recording. Finch was just doing a little emotional manipulation, a little kidnapping to get the results he wants, which is John eventually agreeing to become a vigilante for him. Title card. Finch takes John Reese to the abandoned library he works out of, looking over Finch's murder board and noticing that the numbers Finch keeps talking about are social security numbers, which, as far as I know, they don't really expand on or play with. I mean, I can think of an immediate issue with this system, that being a person needs to have a social security number to be noticed by the machine. I guess Finch only gives a shit if an American citizen is in danger. Also, he refuses to tell John where he gets the numbers, for now. John starts doing his secret agent thing, which is stalker stuff.
First, you break into their home and go through all their stuff. Email, financial records, personal effects. Then you hack into their cell phone. You can use the microphone to listen into their conversations, whether they're talking on the phone or not.
We figure out that she's Diane Hansen, a DA working on a case where a bunch of gang members were killed during a gun deal, with a real wiener of a co-counsel, a shitty witness who changes his story, and a belligerent client. He spies on literally all of her conversations,
Whether they're talking on the phone or not.
eventually hearing that her client has a brother who knows what really happened that night, and John chases the boy down in the street. The kid yells at some bystanders that John is a real creep trying to kidnap him, because that is in fact what is happening, and makes his escape while these dudes confront him.
How you doing? How you doing?
John decides that he's going to need guns if he's going to do this job, and he can't just have them sourced by the billionaire he works for. He's going to intrude on a deal involving the gang that he beat the shit out of earlier and steal all their shit.
Have you guys seen the men's room? Hey, Anton. Wow, that's some pretty serious equipment. Have you guys taken a safety course? Take you, for instance. You're holding that thing sideways. It'll eject a shell casing right into your face. See? I'm gonna hold on to these while you guys get some more practice. Have a nice day.
Now he has a grenade launcher, which is good because the kid got snatched by the bad guys, and he needs to do something about it immediately.
You gotta do something.
Relax. I'm on it. Yeah. Keep it.
He took a cab to do this? He just stepped out of the cab after loading this in the back seat. Taxi driver had nothing to say about this. I hope he tipped well. So yeah, he drags his brother out of the car to safety, and we discover the shocking truth that the bad guys here are the cops. It's a bunch of crooked NYPD who abuse their authority by dropping in on gun deals, shooting everyone, and stealing their shit for profit.
Him and his men get worded deals. They steal the drugs, the cash, and they kill all the witnesses.
Yeah, man, that's pretty awful. Who could imagine doing that?
Hey, Anton. Have a nice day.
The cops are done scurrying around and start murdering people to cover things up, and Reese needs to move quickly as Hansen appears to be walking into a trap when we get our twist. Diane is working with the crooked cops, and Reese is found and captured. He's in trouble now! It's actually fine. They don't kill him immediately, instead tossing him into the back of a police car and telling this jerk, Lyle Nafusco, to get rid of him. John tries to convince Fusco to switch sides and work for him, before forcing the issue by exploding the smoke grenade he apparently had up his ass. and shooting him 4 times point blank in the back. So, Fusco's dead? Or at least severely hospitalized? I don't care if he's wearing a vest. They aren't invincible. You definitely broke something. The episode is not all scenes of John Reese being a badass. Sometimes we get scenes of John and some dead lady, Jessica, rolling around in bed talking about how much they love each other, and also learn John was planning on leaving the government agent business until 9/11 happened.
What's wrong? Jessica, what's wrong?
It's New York. I don't know. Something's happened this morning.
Is it a plane crash?
I think it's two planes.
9/11 also inspired Harold to build the main driver of the show, The Machine, which analyzes footage of literally every surveillance camera in the city and is able to identify when someone is a terrorist threat. It also sees everything else that happens, and because the government wasn't interested in getting into the precog business, Harold was forced to instruct the machine to throw anything not terrorist related away. Instead, he installed his back door and had the machine send those numbers to him instead, and that's why the show's happening. Get it? I'm sure they'll explain it again. Anyway, John makes it back to New York in time to stop the bad guys from murdering the other DA and a random patsy with a little reverse hostage situation, and is unable to convince the really bad cop, Stills, to back down. So he kills him. That guy's dead. John Reese just murdered him. Body count 1 for John Reese. He even forces Fusco to disappear his body because he decided he owns Fusco now. Fusco now works for him, now that he's collapsed the DA Henson's plan with doing a good old taped conversations with Drew during a trial.
Take care of Wheeler tonight. Make it look clean. Still, you screw this up, I won't let it get to me. I'll take care of you just like I took care of Poe.
Yeah, get used to Fusco. He's a main character now. Definitely more of a main character than Taraji P. Henson is, who only appears in 2 other scenes in which she hears about that gun deal John interrupted, and at the end when John stands right behind her looking smug. Next time, ghosts. Get this, the latest number they got for the machine is dead ? It's not even remotely a mystery, as the boys need to protect a young girl from a hired assassin. See you next week, and remember, you are being watched. Like you are the reason for the show, the viewers, the people who watched at the end, like that, you are being watched. See, it's clever.
You are being watched.